A crime so disturbing investigators still talk about it. The 911 call came in just after midnight. A frantic voice of her husband, Dr. Alistair Finch's home office. The dispatcher tried to calm her, get details, but her words were a jumble of sobs and shock. When paramedics and police arrived, they understood why. The scene wasn't just a crime. It was a performance. Dr. Finch, a renowned psychiatrist known for his work on criminal psychopathy, was seated at his antique oak desk. But he was frozen, lifeless. The cause of death wasn't immediately obvious. There was no visible trauma, no signs of a struggle. It was as if he'd simply stopped. But that wasn't the disturbing part. Arranged around him, on every surface of the room, were his patient files, hundreds of them. Each one was open to a specific page, a page detailing the deepest, darkest secrets of his patients. It was a library of human suffering, put on display for the world to see. Detective Miles Corrigan took one look at the room and felt a chill that had nothing to do with the night air. He'd been on the force for 20 years. He'd seen the worst of humanity. But this was different. This was intimate. It was a violation not just of a man's life, but of hundreds of other lives connected to him. The killer hadn't just taken a life. They had weaponized privacy itself. The initial investigation was a nightmare. Every single patient was a potential suspect. Each one had a motive locked away in those file secrets they would kill to protect. The Mide Kalingit's a therapist curse. Dr. Finch's wife, Elena, was inconsolable, but her alibi was solid. She'd been at a charity gala all evening, seen by dozens of people. The focus shifted to the patients. Miles and his team started the painstaking process of interviewing them, one by one. They met a CEO who harbored a secret gambling addiction that had nearly bankrupted his company. A beloved teacher struggling with violent fantasies. A young woman whose trauma was so deep she'd created multiple personalities to cope. Each interview was a tightrope walk. Miles had to be empathetic yet firm, digging for clues without shattering these already fragile people. But every lead was a dead end. Everyone had an alibi, a reason, a denial that felt just a little too polished. The break came from the place Miles least expected it, Dr. Finch's own notes. Tucked away in his personal journal was a recurring entry about a patient he simply called Prometheus. This patient wasn't in any of the official files. Finch described Prometheus as his most challenging case, a brilliant, manipulative mind who saw therapy not as a path to healing, but as a game of intellectual chess. Finch wrote that he feared Prometheus, that the man was a perfect mirror of the darkness he studied. One entry stood out. Prometheus believes true freedom is the destruction of secrets. He told me he wants to give fire back to the people, to burn down the walls we build around our shame. The phrase "give fire" back echoed in Miles's mind. It was a direct reference to the Greek myth of Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods for humanity. This wasn't just a murder. It was a philosophical statement. With this new lead, they dug into Finch's visitor logs, his private emails, anything that wasn't an official patient record. They found a name, a man who had visited Finch weekly for a year, always off the books, always paying in cash. His name was Julian Croft, a quiet, unassuming literature professor from the local university. When Miles kom, Almseren, he didn't ask for a lawyer. "You must be Detective Corrigan," Julian said, his voice soft. "Alistair spoke of you. He said you were a man who appreciated nuance." Miles placed a photo of the crime scene on the table. "Did you do this, Julian?" Julian looked at the photo, not with horror, but with a kind of sad reverence. "I didn't kill him, Detective. Alistair was my friend, but I did set the stage. He chose the ending." And then Julian told him everything. Dr. Finch, the man who spent his life studying the broken parts of others, was himself broken. He was consumed by the weight of the secrets he carried, haunted by the darkness he absorbed every single day. He had confided in Julian, his one confidant outside the professional sphere, that he could no longer bear the burden. He had decided to end his own life. But he didn't want to just disappear. He wanted his death to mean something. He planned it with Julian. He would expose all the secrets, his final, desperate act to force the world to confront the very things he could no longer hold. He believed it was a form of liberation, a baptism by fire. The murder was a meticulously staged suicide, the cause of death. A fast-acting, untraceable poison doctor, Finch had engineered himself. Julian's role was to arrange the files exactly as Finch instructed, to make the call seem like a frantic discovery, and to be the keeper of the story. He wanted you to solve it, Julian explained. He wanted one good man to understand the truth. He believed that secrets were a prison, and this was his great escape. There was no crime to prosecute. The case was closed, but for Miles Corrigan, it was never over. It's the one he still talks about late at night with the rookies. Not as a story of a brilliant killer, but as a chilling reminder of the weight we all carry. The story of a man who drowned in the secrets of others and in his final act tried to pull the whole world under with him. Thanks for watching.